Pasha has cut out a few shapes. He wants to know which of these shapes are symmetrical. Come on, let's help Pasha find out. Here is Pasha's first shape. Click the Fold button to see the shape fold against the dotted line. Look! This figure can be divided into two identical parts that fit exactly over each other. Such figures are called symmetrical figures. The line that divides the figure into two identical parts is called the axis of symmetry. Now, let's try to fold the shape along this dotted line. Click the Fold button once again. Hey! The figure divides into two identical parts when folded along this line too. So, this line is also an axis of symmetry for this shape. That means symmetrical figures may have more than one axis of symmetry.
So that is what we are going to learn today, symmetrical and asymmetrical figures. So from what you saw just now, you must have observed that when we fold a particular figure along a certain line, then they both are exactly identical. They are identical means the same. Then they are called symmetrical figures. Okay, so this figure, when you fold it along this line, both these parts were same. When you folded along this, then again these both were same. Okay, so this is called a vertical line of symmetry, and this is called a horizontal line of symmetry.
Now, let's look at the second shape, a square. Click the Fold button to see the shape fold against the dotted line.
So now in a square, if this is a line of symmetry, if we fold, what happens? Let us look.
Since the square gets divided into two identical parts, when folded along this line, it is a symmetrical figure. The dotted line is thus an axis of symmetry for the square. Look, even this vertical dotted line is an axis of symmetry for the square. Well, do you think the square has any more axes of symmetry? What about this line? Click the Fold button to see the square fold against this dotted line.
Now that time I told you that if the line is standing like this, it is vertical. If it is sleeping like that, it is horizontal. Now this type of a line which is from one corner to the opposite corner, that is called a diagonal. Okay.
The square divides into two identical parts when folded along this line too. So, this line is also an axis of symmetry. Similarly, this dotted line is also an axis of symmetry for the square. Therefore, a square has four axes of symmetry.
So you saw that certain figures will have more than one axis of symmetry.
Okay, Pasha's third shape is a circle. Click the Fold button to see it fold against this dotted line.
So we are folding to check whether it is symmetrical or not.
The circle gets divided into two identical parts when folded along this line. Thus, it is a symmetrical figure, and this dotted line is an axis of symmetry for the circle. Did you note that this line is actually the diameter of the circle? Look, even this vertical diameter is an axis of symmetry for the circle. Let's try this diameter. we see that the circle is symmetrical along this diameter too. This means that every diameter is an axis of symmetry for the circle. Since a circle has infinite diameters, we can say that a circle has infinite axes of symmetry.
So here they have shown only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, how many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4 lines they have drawn. But you can draw uncountable, innumerable lines of symmetry on this. So a circle has infinite axis of symmetry. And this is also called a diameter. When we learn circles, you will learn that any line which is passing through the center and touching both the two ends of a circle, that line is called a diameter. So you can draw uncountable diameters in a circle, and there are infinite axes of symmetry in a circle.
Now let's look at the fourth shape. It's a quadrilateral. Click the fold button to see it fold against the dotted line.
Now when I began the geometry, that time I told you quadrilateral means any four-sided figure is a quadrilateral. So here there is 4 sides, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so this is a quadrilateral. Now we want to check if it is symmetrical or not. So we have drawn one line of symmetry over here, and we will fold along this line to check if it is symmetrical.
The shape does not form identical parts when folded along this line. Well, let's try folding it along this dotted line. Click the fold button to see it fold against the dotted line.
So in the first case, it was not symmetrical, so we are trying another line of symmetry.
Oh, the shape does not form identical parts when folded along this line either. No matter which way we fold the shape, we do not get identical parts. We can therefore say that this shape has no line of symmetry. Such figures which have no line of symmetry are called asymmetrical figures. So, this quadrilateral is an asymmetrical figure. Pasha now knows how to identify symmetrical figures. Thanks for helping him.